Step 13 in the 25 steps pre-qualifying. Let's have a discussion about what is that. So when you meet with the seller, when you prospect to meet with the seller, when you call for sale by owners, expired listings, when you call your friends and family, past clients, when you call just listed, just sold around your listings, when you're prospecting and you get to the point, which is really the goal of booking an appointment, at that level, at that moment, you got to jump right into pre-qualifying. And what are you pre-qualifying? So when you go through the script with a feasible, with an expired listing, etc., the script is designed to book an appointment at the end of the script you're booking. So in order for you to be able to book the appointment and make sure that the appointment is actually ready for you, they're ready to give a listing, they're ready to sign it, and for you to have all the details necessary to create a CMA and to put together your pre-listing package and send it over to them before you meet is extremely important for you to use this step and not skip it. So let's talk about what it is, like how do you really pre-qualify? So first of all, if you look at all the scripts we sent you, the Mike Ferry scripts, you're gonna have a pre-qualifying script right there. And the purpose of the script is to use it, obviously, right after you book the appointment. So the classic way of doing this, which is how I was doing it, was I finish up the feasible script as an example. And then I say, are you familiar with the techniques that I use to sell homes? They say no. I say, okay, great. What's the best time to show you? Would tomorrow at 7 be good, or the following day at 2 p.m. be better for you? They say, well, the following day at 2 p.m. is great. I say, okay, awesome. Now, before I come out, because obviously we go out, we don't do this on, back then we didn't do Zoom, but right now you can say, before we meet for the actual presentation, there's a few more questions that I need to ask you. Is that okay? You get their permissions, they say, yes, it's fine. And then you ask the questions. So it's a continuance into the process of the prospecting. You prospect, you book an appointment, and you jump right into pre-qualifying. That is the classic way, that is the right way to do this process. Now, Mike Ferry says, pre-qualify 100% of your appointments, 100% of the time, no exceptions. So, and that's how he says it. He says, pre-qualify 100% of your appointments, 100% of the time, no exceptions. So, for some reason, most people don't understand what it means, 100% of the time, no exceptions. And they do it sometimes, yes, sometimes not. Yeah, you know, I did it, but this one I didn't do it. Or most of them I don't do, sometimes I do. That's what separates someone from actually following a system or reinventing the wheel. And a lot of agents reinvent the wheel, especially when it comes to more talking, more pre-qualifying. Why they do that? Why most people don't like to do that? Because they're scared of one of the questions on the script. There is a question on Mike Ferry's script that scares people. But even if you eliminate that question or you ask it in a different way, many agents still skip the process because when they book an appointment, they get so excited. Oh my God, I got a listing appointment. They get so high that they just forget the entire process. And then what happens is they go to the listing appointment not ready or not as ready as they should be, and therefore they're not getting the listing. So the fact that 70% of all sellers never speak with more than one agent and give one agent the listing doesn't mean that we should skip the process, shorten the process, cut off the process, or change the process. The less you reinvent the wheel, the more successful you're going to be. Remember that. The less you reinvent, the more successful you're going to be. So try to follow the system. Pre-qualifying. Let's look at some of the notes. This step is like a buffer separating the best from the rest. And it really is. It really is. Top producers qualify 100% of every prospect. And they pre-qualify 100% of every meeting before they meet with the people, which is a key component to becoming a real estate top producer. Remember, You're not interested to let go of the phone. Here is the deal. Agents that try to get off the phone have issues with pre-qualifying because they're afraid that if this appointment is not really qualified appointment, then they have to continue to prospect. So they treat prospecting like a painful experience. Therefore, they don't want to go back there. So let me not pre-qualify. Let me just try to go on my listing appointment and see what happens. And that's a mediocre approach. The mindset behind it, the energy behind it, the fear is really not a top producer's posture. If you want to have a strong posture, you got to work on it by following the system. All right, so a good pre-qualifying script should help you set up an appointment with ease, and more importantly, make sure that the lead is qualified and motivated. Always, always, always pre-qualify the lead before you actually setting up the appointment. This is the secret component that separates top producers from the mediocre. Turning leads into qualified appointments. So anyone can get a lead, but not anyone, well, not everyone can get a qualified appointment. Remember that. Anyone can get a lead. They can actually purchase leads, but not everyone can actually turn the leads into a qualified appointment. The more productive you're going to get, the less leads you will keep in your stack. We spoke about that last week. Throwing leads, not keeping leads that are not highly, highly motivated and ready to do something in the next 10 business days. Those who set the most qualified appointments win. Since top producers understand the importance of role playing, they convert more leads into qualified appointments, and that brings you to role playing. Now, we're going to introduce this pre-qualifying component into tomorrow and the following day role play sessions. We will do FISBO script into the appointment, going right into pre-qualifying. That's how it's going to be. So let me just share with you something on my screen so we can talk shortly and briefly about the script itself. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
All right. So this is the script, and we're actually moving from booking it on the FISBO script or on the expired script right into this. So it goes like we're ending the other one saying, what's better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? Tuesday at 4 is good for me. Okay, great. Now, before I come out, you see I'm jumping right in. It's part of my script. Now, before I come out, there are a number of questions I need to ask you. Is that okay? Yes? Great. Number one, look at that question. Now, a lot of people don't do that because they're scared of this question. And I never really understood that. I never understood why would someone be scared to ask a qualified question? So I would say, if what I say makes sense, that means you need to pause. If what I say makes sense, and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow or when we're meeting tomorrow on Zoom? And they say, well, not really, we're not ready, or they say yes, or they say maybe, or they say let's see, or whatever it is they say, doesn't matter what they say. Next question. Are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Now, if at number one, they're stuck with me saying the following, if what I say makes sense, and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow or when we meet tomorrow at 5 p.m.? And they say, well, not really, we're not ready to list yet, or something to that nature. I will then say, okay, I understand you guys are not ready to list, but if what I say makes sense tomorrow when we meet, and at the meeting, you feel, it's like I'm repeating number one in a different way, trying to explain it so they understand my question. So I'm not saying that I understand you might not be ready to list, but if when we meet tomorrow, what I say to you and what I show you on the screen and everything else makes you feel comfortable with me and confident that I can sell your home with the techniques and everything else that I'm using to sell homes, if you're going to feel excited about that, would you then be ready to list your home with me? Because I'm trying to see if there is a condition why they wouldn't list their home with me. If there is a condition, then maybe we're not ready to do a listing presentation. I don't want to do a listing presentation now, and then in 30 days or in 60 days or in 90 days, I'll need to follow up again to get the listing. That makes no sense. There's no reason to do a listing presentation unless they're ready to list. Because if you do the listing presentation and they're not ready, and you're not getting the listing, and then after, I don't know, they want to wait a couple of months, and you didn't pick up on your script that they want to move, they want to wait a couple of months before they list, and you're trying to push them or to put pressure on them to do something they don't want to do, trust me, it's not going to work out, and it's best if you don't do the presentation. You could send them just a CMA over. So I'll say if they tell me, no, we're not ready because my daughter need to finish high school first before we can actually do that. So we're waiting until the end of the year. Or they say, well, we're waiting to get, we're waiting to get an answer from a job transfer. Until then, we're not doing anything. That's a condition. That means they're not going to do anything until they get the news. So then I'll move into, okay, so let's do this instead. Let me send you a free home evaluation report. Okay, and then you look at it, at least you know what the value of your home is right now. And market is changing. I mean, the market is changing literally daily right now. So if you, and we'll touch base. I'll touch base with you like maybe once every 2 weeks just to see where you're at. And when you're ready, okay, when this condition is changing and you're kind of getting ready to get the home on the market, let's talk then so I can show you the entire process of how I do that. And in the meantime, if you need anything else that I can help you with, like, for example, maybe they say to you, well, we're not going to sell the home before we renovate the bathroom or finish renovating something. We're not going to put it on the market. There's no reason to do a listing presentation right now, because the listing presentation, the only reason to do that is to get the listing. So if they tell me, well, if, yes or maybe, they answer to number one, they say yes or maybe, now it's time for me to ask the next questions. Are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? And they say, well, we don't know yet, or maybe yes, or whatever it is they say. You move on next. Tell me again, where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? And then I say, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you'll list with me at the price that will cause your home to sell, correct? So what price you want to go below? And they tell me, well, we're never going to go below X. Great. How much do you own the property? They might say it's none of your business, or why is that important, or whatever they're going to say. The answer should be, the only reason I'm asking you is because I'm going to give you a net sheet that shows you how much money you're going to net out of the sale. And I'll need that figure just to, professionally present to you your bottom line. But if you don't feel comfortable answering, it's okay. Next, have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Now, you're not going to ask this question if you talk to a FISBO. That's kind of ridiculous. So you move it out when you talk to a FISBO. And then you ask them, will you help finance the home for the buyer, or do you want your cash out? That means, would you give a mortgage to the buyer, or do you want to cash out? Most sellers say, oh, we want to cash out. Would you please describe your home for me? They give you a description: 3-bedroom, 2-bath, upstairs, downstairs, outside, inside, etc. Then you say, I'll be sending over a package of information. This is when you're talking about your pre-listing package. So I'll be sending you over a package of information. Or if I'm doing it on Zoom, I'm going to say, I'm going to email you a package of information with all the stuff inside that you need. Will you take a few moments and review it? Yes, great. Do you have any questions before I arrive? What's your commission? That's a great question. That's the first thing we'll talk about when I meet you later on. And then you say, so our meeting should take between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? They say, yes, great. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. That's the pre-qualifying script. Why would people skip this process other than they're scared of question number one? A lot of agents are scared of question number one. How do you guys feel about that? Feel free to open your microphone and share with us what it is specifically that you feel about this process.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I feel comfortable using that script. Question about the helping with the financing question. Does that mean like helping them with the closing costs, or what do you mean by the seller financing their mortgage? I don't understand that.
Where? At 6?
Well, yeah, one of the questions, I can't see it from here, but is one of the questions that says would you be helping the buyer finance the home? I forget which number it is. Towards the
Okay,
end.
number 8. Will you help finance the home for the buyer, or do you want to cash out?
Yep, that one.
Okay, so what is it that you don't get about this question?
Like, do the sellers help the buyers finance the home, or is it just helping like towards closing costs, which is usually the 5,000? That's usually very common.
Well, whatever it is, but we're talking about in this particular question, we're actually asking them if they're going to do seller financing. Sometimes the seller tells you, hey, if you can get me 30% down payment, I'll give them the mortgage myself.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
And
All right.
that's going to be more of what we call a creative financing deal, which opens up to a lot more buyers to qualify for this kind of a deal if they have the 30% down. There could be a lot of buyers out there that don't qualify for a mortgage because of income issues or credit issues. But if they have the 30 down, they can purchase the property. The seller will give them financing. Some sellers prefer not to take cash. If they stay in the deal and they give out a mortgage, then they don't have to pay capital gains if that's the case. If it's an investment property or second home, they'll need to pay capital gains when they close on the property. If they give a mortgage, they don't need to pay capital gains. So there is some benefits in doing that. There's also other benefits that they can actually sell the house for a lot more than what it should sell for on the open market. When you offer owner financing, you can always get more for your property.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
All right. So tomorrow, we're going to meet up at 7:30 for the role-playing session. I will introduce this script tomorrow. And I'm actually going to email everybody right now to make sure that they bring this with them. And that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Take your